Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all doing well. So after the disappointment of defeat at the Emirates and the end of Manchester United's unbeaten run, stretching back to just before the World Cup break, but obviously now that run coming to an end and United having to go on a new one. But we've got that perfect opportunity. We've got a League Cup semi-final, a two-legger, and sandwiched in between that, we've got the FA Cup fourth round as well against Reading at Old Trafford. And Erik ten Hag has been speaking ahead of those games about the importance of Anthony Martial, about the need for trophies at Manchester United, and also about Marcus Rashford's future and how Old Trafford is the best place for him to be, around reports that he could be of interest to Paris Saint-Germain. So we will get stuck into all of those things in this video. But before we do, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, you're liking, you're commenting, you're sharing. Get involved in all the comments down below. And make sure you're keeping it locked to the channel as well. Don't forget as well, today, as I record this video, it's Wednesday. So today is the first podcast from the club. Yes, myself, Rory and Boovy, we had our first live show at the weekend and we recorded our first podcast. That's out today. The link is in the description below for all the club's platforms, so go and check that out. But let's get stuck into this. And first of all, we'll speak about the trophy drought. United have been on a trophy drought. Since that Europa League, we haven't won a trophy, and it's important that we win a trophy. And fingers crossed, Erik ten Hag is the man to change that this season. And he says on the trophy drought, it takes too long that this club didn't win a trophy. It belongs to the club to be winning trophies, and so we have to get back on track. And that's bang on. United have to win a trophy. Now, fingers crossed that can be this season. Now, if Erik ten Hag doesn't win a trophy this season, I don't think it's the end of the world. Of course not. Anything can happen in cup competitions, and we're very unlikely to win the league. But I think there's a real opportunity there. We're playing well as a team. He's got us playing really well. He's built the foundations for something. And there's no reason why we can't go on and do well in the Cups. Of course, we've got Forest standing in our way between a spot in Wembley and then Newcastle potentially in the final, which would be a difficult task. But we've also got the FA Cup run. City are playing Arsenal. If we get through in that, there's a few big teams knocked out. Anything can happen. So we need to be focusing on these cup competitions as a possibility to bring trophies and just really start that winning, you know, that winning feeling back at the club again as well. Erik ten Hag coming in, starting to build something at the club, you know, having made some ballsy decisions with some key players, you know, really getting a grip of the squad and the team and the club. And for him to come in and crown that with a trophy, it really means something as well. Like I said, not the end of the world if we don't, but we've got some huge opportunities, and it'd be a disappointment if we didn't get top four and a trophy, and that has to be the target for this season. As I also said, Erik ten Hag said about Manchester United when asked about PSG's interest in Marcus Rashford. He said, "I would say Manchester United is the best place to be because we want to construct the best team, first in England, then in Europe, and then in the world." Yeah, Erik ten Hag wants global domination, and I'm here for it. And that's great to hear from Erik ten Hag. He wants to make this club an attractive place to be for players to play their football, ply their trade, and be successful. Yes, of course, Manchester United can pay big wages and we can compete in the transfer market, but that shouldn't be the only reason we're getting players. And over the years, it has been. You know, at times when other teams have turned down other projects that are probably in a better position than ours, it's been because of money. And with Erik ten Hag is building a footballing project that can stand alone and be attractive in itself. And he came in and he said, you know, eras are there to be ended. He's coming in now and saying we want to be the best team in England, in Europe, and in the world. He's got aims, he's got big aims, and that's what you want to hear from a Manchester United manager. And I don't have any worries about Marcus Rashford, you know. I know there's a lot of rumours about his future. And I could look stupid if this hasn't. I'm pretty certain he signs a new deal at Manchester United. That is for sure. And one of his buddies, Anthony Martial, is missing that game against Forest again. Been a big issue for him this season has been his availability, because when he's been available, as I've said often, he's been very, very key to the way Manchester United play. In fact, I think the best example of that, although we won the game in the second half against City, when you look at our performance in the first half against City and the second half against City were a much better team with Anthony Martial in it. Now, the problem for us has been his availability this season. And I think people are mixing up the frustrations of like the last 6-7 years and loading them all onto Anthony Martial this season. I think his injury issues are an issue and we can't rely upon him in that sense. But the other day we were playing against Manchester City, and there was one instance where he didn't run after the goalkeeper. And there was a few like jeers and groans around me. And it's like the manager doesn't want him to do that. Like, he's very good in the press. He's very good in the press. He's very good at leading the line. And that day, even when Anthony Martial went off and then Anthony come on, Anthony didn't do that either. It was United were always giving the goalkeeper the pass out from the back and closing down those centre backs and trying to make, you know, things happen there. And I think he leads the line really well in that sense. But again, not available. And that's the issue for Manchester United. Ten Hag said when he's there, he's really important for us because we play our best football when he is available. He has to be aware of that as well. If we want to be successful, we need him. And the first thing is he has to be available. He says he has to work on being available. In that fact, I agree. He has to be more available. He can't do nothing for it in that sense. It's sometimes also bad luck. But sometimes you don't know also really the cause, what the reason behind it is. So he's clearly carrying injury issues, which are a problem for Manchester United. But this season, he's massively important to us. And getting him fit is important as well. Obviously, getting Wout Weghorst integrated. One of the things in the summer is we're going to have the luxury of hopefully having new owners, having some money, being able to recruit. But if we can get Anthony Martial fit this season, it could have a massive impact on the way our season goes in terms of winning those trophies, in terms of making top 4 comfortably, because we're a much better team with him in it. And I think you have to kind of take your hat off to what Erik ten Hag has done with him. This is a player that looked like he was on his way out in the summer. You know, I think pretty much even people like me who love the guy thought he was done and dusted at Manchester United. Erik ten Hag's come in and he's working with that. You know, the other day I got criticised for saying we had a Burnley midfielder and a Burnley striker up front. Give Ten Hag some time. But those are just facts. Wout Weghorst is a Burnley striker and Scott McTominay should probably be playing for Burnley. And until we replace those players in the squad, and look, all due respect to Wout Weghorst, I hope he settles and starts scoring goals for us. And I'm sure he'll do well. But Ten Hag, that wouldn't have been his first choice. Do you know what I mean? And even Anthony Martial, he'll want to bring somebody else in. He'll want to bring in a first choice. But I do think what Anthony Martial has shown this season is if he can stay fit, he's a very key player for us. And all the people rushing out saying, sell him and all that. I understand it if you're on about his injury issues. But criticising his performances this season doesn't make sense. I've heard people call his performances lazy and that. He missed a few chances, but he's far from lazy, do you know what I mean? And I even think against City, he was playing through injury. But anyway, there you go. United do need a number 9, and we do need to bring one in. That's not what I'm not saying. But keeping Martial fit is vital to us this season. Because we're not going to go and buy a striker, are we? As much as I'd love us to. And then we're being linked with Harry Kane at the moment. Harry Kane would be a dream of a signing. Osimhen, Ivan Toney. You got to bring them in. But I think if Martial's fit, I think he has a part to play and he'll probably be still here next season with a part to play in Ten Hag's plans. But we do need a number 9 ASAP. ASAP. Someone that's not made of Weetabix, please. I love you, Tony, man, but stay fit. If he stayed fit this season. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you're keeping it locked. I'll have reaction to the United game against Forest later on tonight, so keep it locked for that. And of course, as well, make sure you're going and checking out the first podcast from the club. Until then, anyway, until later on tonight, I'll see you in a bit.